How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into today's video, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Also, if you've been subscribed, definitely be sure to click that little bell icon that actually turns on post notifications. And as a smaller car channel here on YouTube that does post new content daily, it would really mean a lot to me, and I really do appreciate all the support. But anyways, for today's topic, we're going to be looking at two articles and discussing something that I honestly don't think gets enough attention, and that is the dangers and, quite frankly, like terrible truth of semi-autonomous driving. Now, recently, as of like a couple of years or so ago, a lot of manufacturers have been pushing towards like these semi-autonomous slash like autopilot settings in cars, and we've seen them in Volvos and GMCs and Teslas mainly, and a bunch of other manufacturers as well. And honestly, I think that it's just a little bit weird. Now, the first experience that I had with a semi-autonomous vehicle was actually last year when I was working in a Volvo dealership, and one of their cars, like one of their SUVs or something, basically had that system in it. And I'm pretty sure all of them have it in it now. But yeah, I turned it on while I was on the highway, and it's kind of like cruise control, but it also steers for you as well. And it only like turns off when you like turn off the blinker or whatever. You could like take over yourself. It's just a very, like, it's a very, very strange feeling. I do suggest that anyone who has not experienced that before, you know, if you can get your hands on a vehicle that has that sort of technology, if you could just take it for a test drive and just feel it out, it's a very, very interesting feeling. I wouldn't say that it's scary per se, it's just very, very weird. But anyways, we're looking at this first article here by Car and Driver, and clearly, as the title suggests, it basically talks about how drivers are too trusting of semi-autonomous technology. Now, this is from a report actually made by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, or the IIHS. It mentions the GM Super Cruise, the Tesla Autopilot, as well as the Nissan ProPilot, which is something that I did not mention before. And it basically goes on, and it talks about a couple of, you know, reasons why it's just a little bit like too much. Now, I will leave this article linked down in the description below if you guys want to just take a read for it yourself, because today we're basically just going to be looking at a little clip from this video, which is actually made by Car and Driver 2, and it's right here. So this is when they were actually testing out a Tesla, and they had it on a highway apparently, and they had to go over like 4 lanes to make the exit. Eventually, as you could see, the gentleman that was in the driver's seat actually just had to take over because it was kind of unsafe. And they even say in the video, they're like, you know, it's a good thing that no cars were around us while it was doing this, because I don't know if it was glitching out or if it was just that, you know, they got on somewhere and it didn't have enough time to get off all the way. But a lot of this stuff is like very, very beta still. I know that manufacturers are going to come out and say, oh, well, we've done so much testing and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's proven, it's this and that. But honestly, like, there's been many cases now of accidents being caused by self-autonomous cars. Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about self-autonomous technology. Personally, I think that it's something that is more of like a marketing scheme. However, it's grown into, I think, potentially a much more major concern for driver safety on the road. Now, let me know if I'm just like over exaggerating or not, but honestly, like, with the amount of kind of driver conveniences and just technologies that are put into these modern vehicles, they're already so easy to drive compared to, you know, vehicles of the 80s, or hell, even vehicles of like 10 years ago, right? And when you couple that with, obviously, everyone's on their phone and everyone has, you know, headphones in, and everyone's like distracted to begin with, and now we're basically looking to make cars that are basically just driving themselves. Now, Elon Musk, although I agree a lot with, personally, with what he says about certain things, he kind of is one of the main pushers of this self-autonomous driving technology. And the Tesla Autopilot system is also one of the more advanced self-autonomous kind of driving softwares that are currently available in different manufacturers. Now, if we go ahead and look at this article by Fortune, it actually goes ahead and talks about how in a 4-month period earlier in this year, Tesla cars were involved in 10 out of 11 fatalities linked to self-autonomous driving. Now, yes, that's only 11 fatalities right now. Obviously, you know, rest in peace to those people. It's a terrible tragedy and everything. But statistically speaking, yes, that's not a lot of cases. However, there's been an increasing amount of like little fender benders and more minor accidents with self-autonomous driving. Now, personally, how I feel about it, I think that when you're trying to like make something like overly technologically advanced and more advanced than it really needs to be, I think that there's certainly a potential for bad things to happen. Now, let me know again if I'm just like over exaggerating or not, but I think that all in all, like to sum up this video, and I know I'm kind of like all over this place in this video, and I do apologize, but to sum up my overall opinion on self-autonomous vehicles, I think that it's a very interesting thing that manufacturers should look towards for the future. However, where it's at right now, I think there's no way that it can reliably be safe, at least right now in 2022. Maybe again down the road it could potentially get there, but also, I don't know about you guys, but I like to drive my vehicles. Hell, I even, you know, have a stick shift, and I wish that they would never stop making manuals. So I don't understand how people honestly go out and spend so much money on cars just to not even drive them. That's just my own opinion. That's kind of like the second reason why I think self-autonomous driving softwares are a little bit silly. And honestly, again, my third reason has to say that although you're not driving, you still are responsible for being behind the wheel. So you still kind of have to drive. And in a sense, whenever I was in that Volvo, which I'm forgetting the model, it was either XC60 or XC90, it was one of their SUVs, and I think it was a 2021 if I'm not mistaken. But whenever I was in that Volvo last year, it was almost like there was no point for even having the software. There's no point for even turning it on, which I honestly rarely even did. But I tested it out, and then I kind of tested it out a little bit more as the months went by and as I was working at that dealership. And honestly, as time went on, I just thought it was silly to even turn it on, because when you turn it on, you're focused on the road still, like you're still like paying attention and everything. And then on top of that, the car is basically controlling itself, and it also turns and acts in ways that you would not want it to act. And again, I do highly suggest checking out these two articles by Fortune and Car and Driver, because they go into a lot more depth and they include a lot more statistics. But I also do suggest checking out that little video made by Car and Driver where they actually test out Tesla's autopilot system around like Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is I guess where their HQ is. And it's pretty crazy because like the thing can't really handle 90-degree highway turns that well. It really had a hard time with a roundabout, and also I believe it kept stopping, like dead stopping at yield signs, which could potentially cause accidents as well. So anyways, to basically sum up this video and to make a long story short, I think that if you're going to buy a car for a self-autonomous driving software, which I don't think you should just buy a car for that anyway, but if you are, I think you should do plenty of research behind it. And to be honest, in 2022, I truthfully do not believe that people should be going out and buying cars basically just for their self-autonomous driving softwares. And I really think that it is not necessarily unethical, but I think that it's a bit silly for manufacturers to be using these softwares as a kind of marketing scheme, basically just saying like, oh, you know, our car has this feature or whatever, because to be honest with you, no manufacturer has really like got it down pat yet from my understanding, and it's just, I think it's a little bit silly, and I really hope that, you know, more people don't get hurt from these things in the future. But again, only time will tell, and hopefully, you know, manufacturers, if they are going to go in that direction, which again, I don't really like, but if they are going to go in that direction, hopefully, you know, they iron out some of the problems that we're seeing all across the board, no matter what manufacturer it is. But let me know what you guys think about the other like negatives of having self-autonomous driving softwares in your vehicle. And also, again, while you're down there, definitely be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and also click that little bell icon to get notified for any new content that I post. I really do appreciate you guys for sticking to the end of today's video. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed today's video, click on either of these links right here to watch a similar video from this channel, or click on the little circle link right there to actually subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. I do appreciate all the support, but thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day.